Hello, film freaks. Welcome to another edition of the Knicks Film School Film Session. DJ Zullo here, one day after the Knicks fell to the Clippers in LA in the first game without Jalen Brunson. Still no word as of recording regarding a specific time frame, though the Knicks did put out a statement regarding his status, saying he'll be reevaluated in about 2 weeks' time. So safe to say the Knicks are going to have to get by here without Jalen Brunson for a bit of an extended period. And I thought, obviously this is going to be a team effort in terms of replacing the production and the leadership that Jalen Brunson provides. I think one specific player, might have a little more pressure on him, to be frank, in terms of picking up the slack offensively, and that's Mikal Bridges. And it was a nice glimpse into what he can possibly provide as more of an on-ball creator against the Clippers. Overall, 22 points, 12 shots, excellent. Drew 5 fouls, which I have to imagine is the highest number of the season for him in terms of a single game. 4-4 on his pull-ups in the mid-range, so that shot was falling for him. Did have 4 or 5 assists. Now, I think the variety of the assists that he did have were more of just a swing, and then the player put the ball on the floor 1 or 2 times. I don't think Bridges was necessarily creating those assists opportunities with his gravity, but he did have a few assists. Had some turnovers as well, which we'll dissect here. But in the grand scheme of things, the big thing we wanted to see is there more juice there for him as an on-ball creator? And I think the answer to that is yes. Now, what that means going forward is, I think, a little more murky in terms of what can Mikal Bridges provide as an offense to raise their floor a little bit as we wait for Jalen Brunson to get back. I think that's where I have more questions, because even in this game, as we get through all the clips here, you're going to see that it was rare that he was drawing to the ball. He made his shots, and the Clippers invited a lot of those attempts. And to his credit, he made most of them, 8 of 11 on 2-point shots. Many of those were, shots he's comfortable taking, those pull up in the short mid-range area, but shots a team is probably going to be okay with if it's going to be a high volume amount. So without further ado, let's get right into the clips and sort of see this for ourselves. And we're starting off in the first quarter. Knicks got off to a bit of a slow start offensively. We're going to get a screening roll. Hart being the screener here, again, putting him in the action, whether it's an on-ball or as the screener, I think is obviously going to be a big benefit to the Knicks and truly have more of a 5-out spacing look. Bridges is very good in this area to get to his spots with his ability to snake the dribble. Now, we're going to see later on how that could be a little bit of a, too much of a go-to for him. Instead of just getting downhill when the opportunity might present itself and really put pressure on the defense, he does prefer to get the defender on his back and then snake and try to get to his right hand into about this area and get into his pull-up. So in this first play, you can see him gets done, has him in jail, tries to get to his right hand. Again, Clippers going to live with most of it with Big Z and drop coverage most of the night. But this is a shot that Bridges is very comfortable taking. Now, the downside, he's going to miss this one, but it's a good look for him. The question is, as an offensive ecosystem, shot diet like that is probably not going to be good enough if it's going to be your first or second option. I think that's where the challenges are going to present itself for the Knicks, because he's really not drawing much help. So Zubac is just, his goal here is just to keep him from getting all the way to the basket, take away any pocket pass roll opportunity for Josh Hart, and then you can see everyone else is basically staying home. Good luck by Bridges. He's going to make the shot many times, but I don't know if that's going to be a good shot diet for your offense, if that's going to be your first or second option. Now, on this play, Bridges has been his ability to crash off these off the corner, especially when he's now in this situation unguarded, because Anunoby basically screened 2 here, and this is not a Deuce McBride video, but let's just be, call a spade a spade. I mean, if you're going to have a situation here where you're drawing that much, if you're Anunoby and you have Cat rolling to the rim, you probably want to see this pocket pass made to the big. Maybe Batum draws a draw of Batum's help, and then Bridges can have maybe an open 3 here. Deuce just gets a little tunnel vision, gets into his pull-up. Again, a makeable shot, but if we're talking about like the full points per possession on this action, a Deuce McBride pull-up is still going to be a little light in that area. So it's going to be a miss, and because Bridges is unguarded here and Cat has Batum occupied, it's a good opportunity for him to crash from the corner. He does, and he gets on the board. Sees the first his first shot go in. Now the Knicks are going to get into their pistol action. So this is a 3-man set here with Achua, Payne, and Bridges. A lot of options here. So this Payne can come, he can toss that ball to Bridges and go get it, like a throw and get action. Bridges can keep, and then as Achua comes over here, we can get a screen and they can run 2-man. And that's what the Knicks are going to do here. So Payne comes over, Bridges is going to keep it, and now you get a 2-man action with Achua, and then the Clippers are going to just switch it. And now we're going to test Bridges in isolation. I just like the aggressiveness here to get into the body of Eubanks. We haven't seen a lot of this because his on-ball reps have been so limited, but this is a good sign here. You have the big on you. You're not a big-time pull-up threat from 3. Get the ball on the floor. Instead of just settling for a contested mid-range shot, press the action, get into the body of Eubanks, draw the foul. Now we're going to get into our gut Chicago action. So that's basically a middle pin down into a DHO. So Bridges is in the middle of the floor. Payne is going to set the pin down, and then Bridges is going to receive the DHO. Action that they run very often for Jalen Brunson. So they're keeping it in the playbook and just substituting in Bridges. Any kind of Chicago zoom actions, great for a wing that doesn't have a lot of high-level ball handling skills, but you want to get them into the action, get the ball in their hands with some momentum and some opportunity to create some space without the ball. So Payne is going to set the screen. Bridges can catch with little space. Now he can just get downhill. And again, good job of just getting into the body of Eubanks, pressing the action, feels the contact, and gets the ball to the rim. I much prefer actions like this for Bridges when he doesn't have to do a lot of the ball handling. Separation is done for him, and it's quick pace. He's a player that just thrives when the action is quick and the pace is high. When things bog down, they slow down. I think it's where the physicality and some of the lack of 3-point shooting from him can be a problem. But in this case, the Knicks ran the action, and then the pistol action prior to this, good fast-paced actions to get the ball moving, get it into his hands with some momentum. Draws another foul. Good signs. All right, in this play, Kawhi Leonard basically goes into claw mode here, and this is just Bridges being a fantastic shot maker with a high release point. I mean, Leonard senses that Bridges is a little loose with the ball, which he is most of the time, and just tries to take it from him. Bridges stays with it, and then you get the high release point. I mean, that there are not many players in the league that can have Leonard playing at that level of aggressiveness and then get the left-hand contest here. Left-hand contest on a right-hand shooter, that is going to make the shot contest even more impactful. And Bridges gets really high off the ground, and then his release point is already insanely high. So he's just able to release it over the top of Kawhi Leonard. And it's a long two. Just a fantastic shot. Elite shot making right there by Bridges. Sometimes you have to call out the high level skill and awesome play. Speaking of awesome, just a ridiculous rebound by Josh Hart. Let's call it like it is. That ball kind of flies out off the rim a bit too, with a little more velocity than he anticipated. Good job by Achua getting a body on Z, but Hart able to corral this, and then he's able to push. Knicks get into a little early offense. Good cut by Shamet, and now Bridges can do a little throw and get action with Achua, who keeps it, and then Bridges just keeps moving. So that's where you can see how the quick pace of an action like this, Knicks basically cross half court at the 20-second mark. So it's a good sign for an offense if you can cross half court within 4 seconds. Good early cut by Shamet, and then good awareness by Achua to keep it. And then he sets a bit of a brush screen here to give Bridges even more space coming off here. Now he's able to drop it off. And then Bridges is fantastic with that little one-legged fall away from just outside the paint. Good work there. Playmaking, passing, it's where I think Bridges is very limited. This is a rudimentary read here. It's basically you're dribbling at the player you want to cut. Very common action in all levels of basketball. So you dribble at the corner man and then you backdoor it. Batum is just in good position here, especially with his length and his ability to get low. There's really no advantage presenting itself on this backdoor. But Bridges, not a super high level playmaker, so he's going to predetermine this pass, try to sneak it in there, and it's an easy steal by Batum. There's limits to Bridges as an on-ball creator, especially for his teammates. All right, moving along here. Second half, more early offense, crossing half court at 20 seconds. Quick drag screen by Hart. Keep an eye on Zubac here. That's a very deep drop. Kawhi going over the top of the screen. Bridges is going to have an opportunity to get into his comfort zone. You can step right in to his pull-up. We get a late contest here, but that's a very makeable shot by Bridges. Good screen by Hart. Again, we're not bogging down. We're not slowing the action. We're just getting right into the set and using the defense's coverage against them in the sense that you're going to allow your best pull-up shooter in that intermediate mid-range area to get a shot in that zone. Now, the counter to that is clearly the Clippers are fine with this because they basically didn't adjust to it all game. So they were going to allow Bridges to step into these with the idea being, if he's shooting 48 to 52% from this area on a high end, points per possession, you're going to probably make out okay if you're LA, but credit to Bridges for stepping into the shot. Good rhythm. And a good screen by Hart. All right, what do we have? So this is a nice opportunity here for Bridges to get a backdoor or a kind of a slip. We have seen this often with Bridges. He's really good at, especially on this switch here, getting up to the level of the screen and then keeping the defender on the high side. Because if you could do that with Hart here and Cat in the delay action, you have your 5-out alignment and a wide open paint. So it's a good opportunity here to try to keep Batum on the high side, stay low, and then you can get a backdoor. Let's see that. Again, key here is the switch. So Batum switches, But because he doesn't get on the low side of Bridges, he tries to hold him because he knows he's in trouble right about here. He's got his left arm around the shoulder of Bridges, trying to keep him attached. But Bridges has got the leverage advantage here. And then you have, in terms of spacing, McBride and Anunoby, you have really good shooters in spacing out. There's not going to be any help here. So Bridges, with the use of the leverage and staying low, is able to get this backdoor. Good pass by Cat. Good recovery by Batum, but Bridges gets to the foul line. Now here's the play that I posted yesterday evening. Kind of made the rounds here. Cat kicks it out to Hart. Hart had the shot. Doesn't take it. Cat upset. And now Bridges has to fly in and take a tough, contested movement 3-point shot. Wide open, hard shot from the corner turns into just a really difficult movement 3 from above the break. Josh Hart's got to shoot the ball. You just can't have that. It's going to ruin the offense. So now we saw earlier Bridges snake his dribble to get to his right hand. Remember, this is the zone he's trying to get to. Dunn has already seen it. I'm sure it's on the scouting report, so he's just going to attack the dribble here. He knows exactly where Bridges is going. Good containment by Zoo. But as Bridges snakes it, trying to get into that pull-up, read perfectly by the Clippers. Really good defensive play, but again, that's Bridges has to have that diversity. When you're running these screening rolls, sometimes you just got to attack. And it would be, you want to have the option here to take this pull-up with your left hand, right in that zone. Now, I don't know what his percentage on pull-up threes. Probably hasn't taken a ton, but if you don't have that against this sort of heavy drop coverage with the defender, again, going over the top, like this shot is going to be there. Now, if that's not a comfortable shot, you can also really try to get downhill, press the action a little more, maybe get Harden to pull in a little bit more than he wants to off the strong side. Like, there are other options here. I think he goes to this snake dribble a little bit too often, and it just read perfectly by Dunn. Again, loose with the ball. This is where I think the limitations are really strong. So we saw the pass earlier to McBride, predetermined. And here, you can't, in this crowd, look at all the bodies here. You can't have the ball at your hip on the pickup of the dribble. That's got to be, you have to be low. Shoulder level's got to be lower. Ball's got to be lower. This is just too easy a dig here by Bogdanović. And that's the limitation of a on-ball creator that is not a great ball handler. You're just inviting plays like this. And that's why I'm sure Bridges has, from the play earlier, he's predetermining that snake to get into his comfort zone, because if we can see the limitations in terms of his ball handling, he has to be highly aware of it. So that's why maybe he's going to resort to attacks that he's more comfortable getting to, because this is not going to cut it here. This sort of ball handling in traffic. All right, we get a little away action. Achua is going to set that screen. Good read by Bridges here, because you got leverage high. So we're going to curl around and get into the paint. Don't believe this one. I think he pulls this one short. Yeah, it's a short floater that he's going to pull the string on a little bit, but I do like the action. I think he's a pretty good floater shooter. At least the shot looks good. He gets good extension with it, plays off two. I don't mind that shot. It's a good look. I think it's a very makeable shot for him. All right, little early offense again. Like the pacing of this, ball snapping around. Screen and roll. Again, Big Z in that drop, inviting the shot right here. Bridges makes it. Now, he made his pull-ups. So you got to give him 4 on pull-ups for the game. Now, how that sustains itself will be the question here, but there's probably 10 better shooters from that zone in the NBA. Maybe. That might be a little too aggressive. Maybe there's 5 or 6. Like, he's a fantastic shooter around the right elbow. More screen and roll action here, and we're going to get an empty corner with Achua. Pretty simple read here with Big Z's arms out in this way. You get no arm in the pocket here, so it's an easy pocket pass to Achua. Is it the best look? No. Because at this point, it's, can that pass get to the paint on the wing? You have 7 seconds on the shot clock. So it's not a great process by the Knicks. That shot's not going to be where you're going to generate a lot of offense, but credit to Achua for making it. Again, you can see a theme here. Now the question is, with teams playing a little more aggressive, with bigs not in this heavy drop coverage, like how will Bridges as an on-ball creator react to that? I think that'll be an interesting sort of thing to monitor, because the way the Clippers were defending him, I thought they were playing into his hands a little bit. Again, they're giving up these shots and they're fine with him taking them, but I do think he was in a good rhythm on the night. And for him to have these looks time and time again, I thought were important for his output on the night. High percentage shooter from the zone, beats the drop again. All right, last one from the Clipper game. Get a switch. And look, I thought he had a nice job against Eubanks a couple of times, and then here against Zubac. Just tacks the back foot. And he's getting downhill, and he has a nice little throw dribble here. Right there. That little move right there to throw it ahead. Smart move. Avoids the dig by throwing it ahead of him. So Harden is there. But because he throws the ball out in front, right there, you see how the ball is more, he can almost run and chase it. He avoids the dig by Harden. Just a nice opportunity here to take away that help defender. And it's a good technique to use when your ball handling skills are limited. Throw it ahead, avoid Harden, and then take off the left foot, inside hand finish. Solid performance by Bridges overall. Shots went in. It's going to make things look better. The question will be long-term or while Brunson is out, how does it look? Now, one action I do think the Knicks need to put in the playbook ASAP is this Miami action, which they ran for him earlier in the year a few times. I think it's a really smart action, similar to Zoom or Chicago, where you get him with momentum, not forcing him to do all the creation with the ball in his hands. So it's basically a DHO into a ball screen. And there's that throw ahead dribble again. So it's a move he likes to use. So he throws it ahead here. See the extension out? So he feels Nas there with that right arm sort of ready to pounce. So he throws it ahead, gets to his right hand, into his pull-up. It's Miami action, DHO, into a ball screen, momentum, get downhill, 2 dribbles, and just rise up. When he can get the ball one or two dribbles into his pull-up. I love that much more than when he's having to dribble 5 or 6 times, where I think his dribble can get really loose and he's prone to turnovers. So listen, it wasn't perfect, but I thought there were enough good signs to be hopeful going forward here that he can help the Knicks stay above water as they are going to be without their captain for the next couple of weeks at least. And then, of course, there's other pieces to the puzzle here. It's not going to be just about Bridges, but I thought focusing on him was worth doing. And I thought interesting based on first game out without Brunson, and to see that he was able to have some confidence getting into his comfort zone. Again, I thought the Clippers played into his hands a little bit with their heavy drop coverage, but there was I like the pace of how the Knicks played for the most part, and pacing and speed of their actions are going to be critical to get the best out of Bridges. I think when things bog down, slow down, for most offensive players, it's going to make things tougher. I think for him, it's even more critical to keep the pace up. And without Brunson, I think the opportunity will be there for the Knicks to have a quicker pace, and that should benefit Mikal Bridges. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this KFS film session. We will have another one next week. Be sure to subscribe our YouTube channel as we push towards 20,000 subscribers. Hopefully you can get that done before the playoffs start. That'll be a really big goal for ours on this channel as we move along here. And also, if you're not already, we have the Patreon Brunson tier that we rolled out. It'll be in the show notes. You can also find the link on my Twitter handle at DJ Ace NBA. Film sessions exclusive to Patreon Brunson and Monroe tier subscribers very often. Benji, of course, has expanded, enhanced grades after every game. And then of course, the pods with Macri. And if you're a Monroe subscriber, are what is quickly becoming one of my favorite couple hours of the month is our monthly town hall with any of our Monroe subscribers that do want to join. That's just a fun hang, just talk hoops, whatever, for a couple hours. And it's really fun. So hopefully you guys can check that out. But until I see you again, I will have the film post-game show, I think, next week. We'll have more film sessions coming up. But until then, we hope everyone's having a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.